welcome back. This video is, oh my god, it is so late and I'm really sorry. But here it is. Let's get on with my April reading wrap up. I got new books. My partner got me the Tracy Dion set, Legendborn, Oathbound and Bloodmarked. I haven't read Oathbound yet, my most recent one, but I was very excited about that. Anyway, so I had to put them there. As much as I love Stephen King, and he always will hold a special place in my heart, it was just very Stephen King over this side. So, you know, I needed to change it up a little bit. But here it is. Let's get into it. My April reading wrap up. First was The Secret World of Maggie Gray by Granger. Oh my fucking god, absolutely love this book. The blurb really didn't give me anything, well, pretty much nothing to go on. I'd seen people rave about it online, and the cover art, like this cover art made me want to read it. Okay, so here's what the blurb says. A vampire, a witch, and a siren get accepted into a magical HBCU. The rest I am not allowed to say, but just know there's a talking cat named Quan, a few murders that went cold, and a world that is just below our feet. Literally gives nothing away, right? So let me give you some insight into the prestigious Drew Collins University, home of the Black mythical and magical. It's here that students learn the history of their culture, their ancestors, basically just how they came about. There's vampires, shifters, sirens, what else? Witches, you name it. And I'm pretty sure that I've just touched the tip of the iceberg. I've only read the first book and there's 3 out so far. What I loved is that the characters are all different ages and some are even in their 30s, which I love. I think I've said this a couple times that I'm so bored of it being like an 18-year-old girl, I don't know, saving the world and having all these abilities. As a woman in her 30s, I want people to be around my age. I think Maggie herself is 30, and then the youngest so far is Susie, who is 25. And the teachers range from like 30s upwards, so the interaction between everyone is so much more like adult and grown up. Drew Collins is hidden from the world, and it takes a special train to get there, and it only runs around the start and finish of the semester. I know we've kind of heard that from certain turf, and you can be any age to attend as long as you have the money and the means. We have Maggie Gray, who has no idea about her family's history. She feels like she's cursed with this white hair, but this genetic trait might tell her more about where she came from than she thinks. And could she be more dangerous than she knows? There's so much to uncover. There's also a love interest in the form of one of her professors, Namir. I'll put like artwork. I love putting artwork up when I'm talking about my book recommendations so that you can visualize like what I'm like seeing. See, I'm gonna pop up plenty of images from Granger's Instagram of the characters because I'm so shit at articulating like my thoughts in reviews, and I feel like I'm not gonna sell it to you. So pictures might do it justice. Just look at these characters. Like, they're so fun and exciting, plus fucking beautiful. But let me touch on some of our main women in this book. So I spoke about Maggie Gray. Next, we've got Susie Lafayette. She is a witch, stunning, beautiful woman, very sweet and loyal to her friends, and she wants to learn to speak to the dead and master her skills with being a clairvoyant. Then we have Asha Avery, a siren, and she's been through hell growing up, honest fucking hell. Being captured and tortured by white men has only made her tougher, angrier, and more passionate. She doesn't take any shit. She's very confident, and she kind of feels like the caretaker of the group, and she's completely shied away from her entire culture. She's got a lot to learn, including swimming, which is funny for a siren. There are plenty of adult themes in this book, just to make you aware. I mean, I guess that goes without saying, they're in their 30s, right? I mean, we haven't lost it yet. I'm so excited to follow these characters and learn more about their individual history and embark on this journey of self-discovery. I actually would highly recommend the audiobook because that's how I listened to it, how I read it. I really loved hearing everyone come to life and give a personality to these characters. So honestly, 5 out of 5 for me. 5 out of 5. And I'm about to start the second book, which literally just released on audiobook. But I'm so excited. I really enjoyed this. It's like a grown up. I hate to say it. It's not like Harry Potter. Some of the magical elements are like that, and it's just gonna be so, it's just so nice to read. I read a lot of like young adult, which is fine. And I enjoy it, but I do like it being a bit more adult, older. I don't know how to describe it. Anyway, next up, Where the Shadows Meet by Patrice Caldwell. And this was my first sapphic young adult novel, and I really did enjoy it. Set in a world after a war between vampires and humans and the gods that created them, this basically follows two sets of characters. First, we have Favra and Thana. So one timeline follows Favra, who falls in love with Thana and gives up her wings for love, while Thana, who's a young goddess, sacrifices her power for Favra. I'm trying not to let this sound confusing. Hang on. So Thana makes very bad choices during her life, which leads her to a life of eternal night and eventually their demise. Meanwhile, Favra never gets over losing her wings and hates the person she's becoming around Thana. She bides her time over the centuries until the day that she can resurrect the girl she loves. Talking of toxic girlfriends, I really felt like Thana was definitely on that list. Okay, so that was one timeline, one couple. Then, 1,000 years later, we follow our next two characters, Layla, who is a vampire and princess, and Naja, a seer. And Layla's best friend is captured and taken to the Island of the Dead. It's here that Layla will travel with the help of Naja to rescue her BFF. However, there's a sinister reason that Layla is being lured to the Island of the Dead, and she risks awakening an ancient evil, maybe an ancient evil that was 1,000 years ago, that will destroy life as she knows it. The world building and history in this book was really cool, but I personally got a little bit confused bouncing around the timelines and like the characters, and then if it was an article from an archive. And I think the reason I felt like this, like the reason that I got so confused, was because I was listening to it on Audible, and I felt like if I had read the book, like if I was reading the book, I wouldn't have got confused because I'd have read the chapter title and taken it in. Like if I zoned out for a second and missed the chapter title, I'd have no idea like whose point of view I'm hearing. Where are we in the timeline? Again, that is just me. Literally my fault, not the book's fault. There's just some things that I can't listen to on audiobook because my brain just switches off and I miss things. If I'd have read it, it wouldn't have confused me so much. Does that make sense? Does anyone else get that? Is it just me? Overall though, an interesting sapphic black vampire story which really makes you question just how far you'd go for someone you loved. And let me just read you this quote. It does come up throughout the book. "You have no idea what I've done for love, just as you have no idea what you may one day do." I'd give this one, I think, 4 out of 5 stars. It was really I did really enjoy it as my first sapphic. The kind of love between everyone was quite devastating, but the characters were really lovely. Some of them were really lovely, some of them were fucking evil, but I really enjoyed the relationship between Layla and Naja and kind of their inner struggles. It was nice to experience that with them and go through it with them. But I also would like a bit more world building as someone who enjoys kind of, I guess, longer books that do focus on world building. I would be interested to learn more about this place. I do believe there's another one, although I need to check that. If you want a young adult black vampire novel that's not too gory, it's not too sexual, it's very, very young adult, I'd highly recommend it. And the last book I read in April, in fact, I didn't actually just read it in April, I've been reading it since the beginning of the year. It has taken me so long. Look how thick it is. It's Well of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson. My little brain, I can't do long books quickly. It literally takes me months. Oh, plus, actually, it's the book I read on my phone when I go on the treadmill at the gym, and I haven't really been very consistent with that recently, so that's also my excuse. And this is the second book in the Mistborn trilogy. We follow Vin, a Mistborn who basically has superpowers when she ingests different metals. I honestly love this kind of superpower. It's so different to anything I've ever read before. I won't go into much detail in case you've not read the first book, Mistborn. Basically, the city of Lutherdale is recovering from the death of the Lord Ruler, a horrible, scary man who ruled with an iron fist. The task of rebuilding this new world now lies with Vin, her crew, and partner Elend. But with the Lord Ruler gone, everyone wants the city of Lutherdale and wants to be in power. These men always want to be in power. We have armies attempting sieges, failed alliances, unpredictable mists fucking killing people. Plus, there's a new Mistborn on the scene. I know Brandon Sanderson is mostly known for his Stormlight archives, like The Way of Kings and all that lot. But if you're new to his work and these books seem overwhelming, because they did to me, I thought that was big. You should see the Stormlight Archives. I would definitely recommend starting with the Mistborn series. However, if you're into spice or romantasy, there is none. The world building, though, is phenomenal. The characters have incredible development, and you'll feel like you're part of the crew and you'll root for them the whole way. My con, if you could call it that, is that there's almost too much description. Actually, it's not really a con. I think it's because I'm just annoyed that it took me so long to read the book. It's just me. Again, it's just me. It's my brain just can't take in these long books. What I'm trying to say is that because everything is so well described and so thorough, it just means it takes a little bit longer to get to like the peak of events. At the end of the day, it's well worth the wait. If you like juicy, chunky, epic fantasy storytelling, you'll love this. 5 out of 5 stars, even if it did take me months to finish. And there we have it, my April reads. Have you read any of these books? Or have I piqued your interest in any? Or just recommend me other books like you always do. I love hearing your recommendations. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye!